am woke now, and I can prove it. Here you go. I love illegal immigrants. Yeah, sue me now. Sometimes I go down to Dover for the day, right? And I look out, right? And look for a boat, and I see a dinghy with about 60 of them, and I go over here, like, right? And I pull them into shore, and I go, women and children first. They go, there are no women and children. Just you lads, is it? Just come on, lads.
Ricky Gervais is one of the funniest comedians out there. He isn't afraid to dive into any topic, which is one reason people love him. But what really sets him apart is that his humor isn't just about clever jokes. There's much more to it.
I tried to watch a bit of it, and I decided I'd rather watch Louis C.K. masturbate. Can't mention him anymore.
Ricky Gervais is famous for his sharp wit, but what really gets people laughing is how he highlights uncomfortable truths. He says what many are thinking but too afraid to say. In this video, we're diving into some of his most memorable takes on woke culture, from criticizing censorship to making bold jokes about identity and politics. Get ready for some of his most controversial moments, where no topic is off limits and everyone gets a dose of his signature sarcasm. We'll kick things off with Ricky's thoughts on Boris Johnson's infamous remarks about Muslim women. As always, Ricky finds humor in even the most heated topics. Let's jump in.
You spoil that cat? I go, yeah, I do. It's a cat. It's not a person. What's the worst that can happen if you spoil a cat? Do you know what I mean? It doesn't grow up to be fucking Boris Johnson. It is... No, I don't.
Ricky expertly targets both Boris and society's double standards with one clever comment. Now, let's move on to something even bolder. Ricky's satirical take on illegal immigration.
You go, I love illegal immigrants. And I go, where you headed? And he goes, Gary Lineker's house. I go, it's just down there.
Ricky humorously suggests that immigrants should be welcomed at Gary Lineker's house, turning a serious issue into something funny. Next, he tackles a topic close to many comedians today, woke comedy. Comedy these days has a lot of rules, and Ricky is definitely not a fan. Here's what he thinks about woke comedy and the whole idea of safe spaces in stand-up.
I say, oh, they're not funny. Even if I agree with them, I stand up and I say, well, you can't say that. You've got to say, you don't find them funny, you know. And I hate it when people say, that joke was offensive. I say, no, you've got to say, you found it offensive. Because it's all about feelings.
Ricky makes a strong point. Comedy that can offend isn't really comedy. Now, we're heading into one of his most controversial moments, the Caitlyn Jenner joke. Some people called it transphobic, but Ricky is ready to explain why they misunderstood.
It was a Caitlyn Jenner joke, right? Oh, outrage on Twitter the next day. And by outrage, I mean a couple of people going, it was transphobic. It wasn't transphobic in the slightest. It was a joke about a trans person, but the joke had nothing to do with that aspect of her existence. And that's the other thing about offence. People get offended when they mistake the subject of a joke with the actual target, and they're not necessarily the same. I'll tell you the joke. You make your own minds up, right? So...
He points out that just because someone is the subject of a joke doesn't mean they're the target. It's a lesson many still struggle to understand. Now, let's dive into Ricky's thoughts on cancel culture. He warns that those who support today's cancellations might one day find themselves in the same situation.
Type of person to revel in someone getting cancelled for something they said 10 years ago. You're just ensuring that one day you'll be cancelled for something you said today. You can't predict. The worst thing you can say today is women don't have penises, right? Now, no one saw that.
Now, let's tackle another controversial topic. The changing definition of what it means to be a woman. Ricky's comedy never shies away from tough issues, and here he takes on the evolving ideas of gender and identity, all with his signature sharp wit.
Women. Not all women. I mean the old-fashioned ones. You know, the old-fashioned women. Oh, God. You know, the ones with wombs. Oh.
He dives into another sensitive topic, obesity. Staying true to his style, he adds a touch of absurdity by comparing it to being gay, in a way only he could pull off.
At Radio 4, quite highbrow, there was a discussion about political correctness. My name came up straight away, right? And there was this woman on there going, oh yeah, well it's not right. Ricky Gervais, he makes jokes about fat people. He wouldn't make jokes about gay people, would he? And being fat is like being gay. What? No, it's not. What? You can't choose your sexuality.
Isn't buying into that comparison. Next, he tackles something even bigger, the hypocrisy of woke corporations in Hollywood. These companies make grand virtue signaling speeches while secretly running sweatshops behind the scenes. Ricky isn't impressed by the moral high ground these celebrities claim, and honestly, neither are many others.
Put into the TV game with a morning show, a superb drama, a superb drama about the importance of dignity and doing the right thing, made by a company that runs sweatshops.
The term queer has evolved a lot over time, and Ricky can't help but laugh at how confusing it's all become. The words queer has definitely evolved. It used to simply mean someone attracted to the same sex, like a gay man. Now, it can even refer to a straight guy seeking attention.
The word queer used to mean someone who was attracted to the same sex as themselves, a gay man. Right? Now, the word queer can mean a straight man who wants some attention.
Always highlights the absurdities of life. Next, he tackles the idea of being offended. He argues that just because someone is offended doesn't mean they're right. In this segment, he explains why offense is subjective and why it's important to keep pushing boundaries in comedy.
Isn't it? When people say they're offended, it's that just because you're offended, it doesn't mean you're right. You know, it's offense is about feelings and.
It's a fine line, but Ricky firmly believes that the best comedy challenges the norm. Next, he addresses the reaction to his Netflix special. His humor sparked plenty of online controversy, but his response? Let's just say he's not losing any sleep over it.
So Supernature dropped on Netflix last year. Big backlash, wasn't there? Big backlash. People going, you can't say that. You can. I did. Well, I am woke, and now I'm woke, the first thing I've got to do is change my Twitter bio. Because at the moment, it's like a list of the shows I've created. But now I'm woke, I've got to pop in the word anti-fascist.
Controversy often helps boost the popularity of a special. Next, he tackles the hot topic of cultural appropriation, which has been getting a lot of attention lately. But Ricky isn't convinced it's as big of a problem as people make it out to be. Here's his take on it.
Appropriation. Have you heard of that? Cultural appropriation, the latest no-no. Now, again, in my day, it was considered a good thing to swap ideas with other cultures, with other nations, to share things with other races, to assimilate. It was the opposite of racist. Now it's racist.
In the next segment, Ricky takes aim at virtue signalers.
Bring people down to raise their own status, and they say it's because, no, we're protecting minorities. Like, they're basically saying minorities haven't got a sense of humour. I'm a white, heterosexual multi-millionaire, right?
What freedom of speech means, particularly in the context of comedy, and particularly in the context of a joke, that a joke about a bad thing isn't as bad as the bad thing. It's not even necessarily condoning the bad thing. It could be anti the bad thing. It depends on the actual joke. And this woman said, you should never make jokes about food allergies. I should have left it, right? I sent back, I make jokes about AIDS, cancer, famine, and the Holocaust, right? And you're telling me I should never joke about food allergies. She sent back, yes, but the Holocaust didn't kill children. Well, it did, didn't it? It was horrible, the Holocaust.